Hi, I'm Carlson from American Runabouts. Recently I had a couple of discussions with customers about the fitting of the windscreens, and as we have the unique opportunity right now that we have two original CVX20 windscreens here, I would like to show you a little bit how these windscreens are made and why they need some fitting. So the main thing is that all these boats and all the windscreens are handmade. Plus they all have like 30-40 years behind them, which means none of these windscreens is identical to another one. And obviously, I mean, we have one or two here that we use to make a mold, which means the windscreens that we produce is identical to this particular windscreen. So if you get it, it's like the same windscreen, but it needs minor trimming, and we usually provide a 2-page letter that describes in detail how to do that. But as I said, unique opportunity, we have two CVX20 windscreens here, and I would like to show you a little bit how much they differ to create a better understanding of why you have to trim these windscreens, and that's not a mistake in manufacturing or an error, and it's something normal, and that you obviously have to trim them a little bit to make them fit properly. It's obviously easier if you have a windscreen like for a GT160 or a CV19, CV20, which sits in a frame, because the frame goes over the windscreen for almost 1.5 centimeters and or half an inch, and that obviously leaves much more room for error or to maneuver a little bit with the windscreen up and down or on the sides. So let's have a look at these. As you can see, it's both CVX20 screens, and I just put them on top of each other to show you a little bit the difference. So the first thing is the upper one is bigger than the lower one. You can actually see that if it fits on the top side, I have almost a centimeter up and down. So the upper one is a little bit wider. When you look at the sides, it's the same thing. They do not really fit. This has a little bit of a different curve than the upper one. Okay, here's the edge is missing, but that's not the point. Here you can see that that corner is completely different. Actually, also when you look from the side, you can see that the lower one is bent in a different angle than the upper one. Obviously, a little bit is because they sit on top of each other. But nevertheless, that you can see that even if they would be behind each other, it's not the same angle. And the same thing goes here. You can see that the curve here is completely different. You can also see that here it's parallel, here again, but in that intersection here, the lower windscreen actually comes out a little bit further, while it is completely flush on the lower side. And also here you can see that the angle is different. This one has a flatter angle, and here it's a little bit steeper. The edge is different. So it is very, very obvious. Also when you look from top, you can see again that there's a difference on that line. So it is very obvious that these windscreens are handmade. And that's the reason why you have to trim them, which is not a problem. They're tempered, they're very easy to cut, they're very easy to sand and polish. There comes a proper documentation with the windscreen, which enables you to do that by yourself. And a lot of time they just fit. But I just want to be crystal clear on that, because yesterday somebody was like, I got my windscreen, it doesn't fit properly, and I have to cut here and there. And he was unhappy, and obviously we don't want our customers to be unhappy, but this is just because this person didn't understand that this is a handmade product, and obviously not a mass production that's spit out by a machine and they are 100% identical. Alright, I hope this helps. If you have questions on our windscreens, on the fitting of the windscreens or anything like that, just feel free to comment on that video, drop us a message, and we're always happy to help you. Alright.